Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a journal with me for you today, and I'm using a kit from Lil Bees that's like coffee and messy bun getting stuff done themed, which was perfect for this week because it was a really intense week at work and with the Black Lives Matter movement really gaining momentum. So with that, today I want to share 5 books by Black authors that I've read and really loved, which I will be sponsoring for 5 of you with my next Google AdSense payment. And these books are from 5 different genres. They're all pretty different, so I think there's a little bit of something for everyone. And of course I want the work to stand on its own, so I'll give you a little snippet of my thoughts about each book just to engage you, and it'll be linked in the description bar below for you to check out, as well as the Google form where you can fill out your information if you're interested. So the first book is Homegoing by Jesse, which I think is considered historical fiction, and it starts at the roots of slavery and follows 2 half-sisters up the passage of time. And then we have What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours by Helen Oyeyemi, which you know is one of my favorite authors. This is a really fantastical type of novel. Oyeyemi's her style is retelling fairy tales. So her writing is really abstract, metaphorical, and if you like that, you'll love her work. The next book is Felix Ever After by Kason Callender. This was a recommendation from Samantha _plans on Instagram, and this is a YA novel. It follows Felix, who is a trans man, and it's really a coming of age romance novel set in New York City. I absolutely fell in love with this book. It's about young love, but it doesn't shy away from the complexities of feelings and gender identity, which I really, really appreciated. The next book is Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. Lorde has just such powerful insights. I practically highlighted this entire book. And the last one, I actually admit I have not read this book yet, but I have followed Alex L's work for many, many years now, so I have a taste of what it's like, and she's taught me so much just from her Instagram posts and her work that she shares on social media. So the last one is Neon Soul by Alexandra L., which is prose and poetry and self-work, and that is actually a book on my wish list, but I thought I'd give it to one of you first. You can tell me your thoughts. So like I mentioned, I'll have a Google form linked in the description bar. You can fill out your information. This is US only. All the details will be down below. Alright, moving to the journal with me, starting with Monday, the first thing that I put down was Coffee Monday, and that is a Lola from Banana Doodle Shop. Then I'm marking work with this laptop from Little Paper Prints, which I put a little nano cloud that I made for myself on top of, and the work scripts are from My Newest Addiction, I believe, and that's a collab with the Planner Sophisticate. Then I put down the coffee full box, which was perfect for Monday, and to mark my Black Lives Matter tasks or action items or just things that I've been learning and doing this week, I'm using these black Clever Gal Crafts foiled hearts with a rose gold from, like I said, Clever Gal Crafts. By the way, I have coupon codes for Lil Bees, Clever Gal Crafts, and a bunch of other shops, and that'll be in the description bar as well. So on Monday, I really just took the time to observe and listen and understand what was going on in the context of how this came to be, and there are so many posts shared on social media to just grapple with, so I took some time to do that before kind of taking my own action items. And then, oh, by the way, the bottom washi is from Simply Gilded, and like usual, I'm marking the shelter in place and Black Lives Matter. So on Tuesday, it was Blackout Tuesday, which meant that everybody was muting their content and their posts to amplify Black voices, and I did the same, and I really focused on Black authors and books and writing that I really enjoyed or that taught me something profound. I used a half box with an important text from the kit to mark that, and then I marked work, and that day we were watching the news at dinner and they were just focusing on all the wrong things. Like, they weren't focusing on the why. They were focusing disproportionately on the riots and the looting versus the actual movement and why this was happening and all the peaceful protests. I think, to me, they were kind of misrepresenting what Black Lives Matter was actually about. So I was really angry, and I spoke out to it because I wanted, you know, for some people in my family that don't follow social media, or they aren't as like aware of what's going on, I wanted to broaden the narrative, and so I did. And speaking up is hard for me, so seeing all the police brutality and everything that was going on, it definitely made me emotional. So I did cry that night, and I used a sad munchkin to mark that. But I'm happy to say that all the speaking up everybody is doing is working, because our local news channel since then has really changed how they represent Black Lives Matter. They started showing the peaceful protests and interviewing Black folks and really trying to show their experience, which I think is awesome. On Wednesday, I put down a messy bun getting stuff done full box because, like I mentioned earlier, this was a really intense week at work, and I had taken on a couple more responsibilities, and we had a deadline that Friday, so I was working like really late every day pretty much this week, and I used a coffee cup to mark that. On Wednesday, I took an action item upon myself to share Black shops and people, athletes that I follow and support, and I wanted to dedicate my social media that day to highlighting their work. And of course, in the evening, I also signed petitions and did any activism that I thought was necessary, because there's so much injustice out there, so much racial injustice. It's wild. So on Thursday, I marked work first thing, and it was another really long day. I think I started work at like 8 and ended at past 9. So it was a really long work day and actually quite stressful. So anyway, I put long day at work with a quarter box. This laptop girl is from my newest addiction, which I do have a coupon code for. And I think she's reformatted and brought this laptop girl back out with foil, which is awesome. At night after work, I had some action items that I wrote down in the beginning of the day for Black Lives Matter, and the first one was to buy an odd loop print. They were donating 100% of the proceeds and actually matching 100% of the proceeds to a couple of foundations. I don't remember. I think it was the Equal Justice Initiative and the NAACP Legal and Education Defense Fund. I thought that was awesome, and Ricky of Odd Loop, his art I absolutely adore. So it was, I just was so happy to buy that print. So if it's still up, I'll have it linked in the description. And then my next action item was to put Audre Lorde's books on hold at the library, which actually I had already done a few months ago, because I am deliberate and afraid of nothing is my mantra for this year, and it's actually a quotation from Audre Lorde. So that was a pleasant surprise. Actually, what had happened was my library actually didn't have any of Lorde's books, so I recommended it. There's like a recommendation feature, and it just so happened that that night was the night that they got Sister Outsider, and it was checked out to my account, which was just, that's like serendipity right there. So I was like, this is meant to be. So anyway, on Friday morning, I, for the first time ever, cried in a meeting, which, it was just a tough week for me, and I think it was just accumulation of things. There were just some things going on, so I ended up crying in Scrum, which is the meeting we have every morning for work. A couple people said some things that just, yeah. Thankfully, no video, and I'm usually muted for most of the time when I'm not talking, so I don't think anybody noticed, but it was kind of sad. So I marked that with the crying Wonton in a Million Steamy, that's foiled in rose gold. Then I marked work, and actually my last action item that I meant to do on Thursday, I didn't have time to do, so I did it on Friday morning instead, and that was writing birthday cards for Breonna Taylor, which I sent out to I believe it was the Kentucky chief, Attorney General, and I think it was the chief of the police department, basically demanding justice. And I will have all of that information linked down below because the cops who killed her still aren't arrested yet, and that is inexcusable. On Friday evening after work, I went out for a walk. I hadn't exercised all week, and like I said, tough day, so I just went out for a nice easy walk. Saturday, I woke up and I don't know what happened to my eye, but there was a bunch of inflammation. I think there was an abrasion or some debris got into my eye, and it was super swollen and inflamed near my tear duct. So I basically spent the weekend sleeping because it hurt to blink, and also taking care of my eyes. So you can see a lot of sleeping stickers, the sleeping girls from Fox and Pip, and the pillow is from My Newest Addiction. Those bow headers are from, or the bow checklists are from Sadie's Stickers. So that's about it for this spread. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please check out everything down below, especially the Google form for the books. I hope you're all taking care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.